What's up, this is Nak3d Eli, the mostly unclothed gamer, bringing you a pacifist no-kill speedrun for Reclaimer on LASO difficulty. As you can tell, the blind skull has completely removed my HUD, so you're just going to see me kind of running through this mission, avoiding every single enemy. The route that I take is 100% completely different from my legendary run. I mean, since I came out with that run like the week after the game came out, so many glitches have been discovered and speedrunning tactics, and I use every single one for the most part in this video. So even though I'm going to be doing the fastest route, I'll still explain what may be possible safer routes for you to go through, since you don't want to die on this difficulty level, right? The Iron Skull means that there's no checkpoints unless you're playing co-op difficulty. Right here, I wanted to show you that you run for 16 steps for every 8 steps that you walk. So if you count the steps up to 16, you see Master Chief's crotch popping out when you're sprinting versus going away when you are walking still. And that's going to take you to this part of the mission. If you run, it's faster than sitting on the mammoth, and you skip all of the dialogue with Lasky, so this will shave off a few seconds. Now right there, you saw a slight bump in the screen. If you're paying really close attention, you can feel it when you're playing. That means that you hit the loading zone, you can turn around, hop back in the mammoth. I was about to call it a mantis. I was like, no, this is definitely not the mantis. It's just a little bit bigger. And then we're going to grab the jetpack so we can move on with the rest of the mission. Now, on this part right here, you could honestly just sit in the mammoth the entire time, and you could sit on the rocket launcher and shoot at these enemies, or you could just sit in the belly of the mammoth to be 100% safe. Right here, I'm going to run up the right side because I'm going to do a little speedrunning tactic to get behind the pelican instead of using the warthog like I did on my legendary speedrun. So as you can see, this run is pretty friggin' fast. It came in at like 15 minutes and something seconds, I think, if you include the middle cutscene where Chief goes Superman with like the librarian's new power. Honestly, no one has explained to me what happened there. So if you know the lore really well, please explain it to me. Like, what did the librarian do to Chief's biology? How did she change him that actually had an impact on the composer and him fighting the didact? Like, just someone let me know, because it still confuses me to this day. Now right here we see 2 plasma grenades. Like, who put these 2 plasmas all the way out here in the middle of nowhere? It's like they knew that I was going to be speedrunning over this way. And by the way, all these things that I'm showing you, like most of them people have already done before. Halo History, I think, is the name of this really amazing Japanese speedrunner, and he's the first guy to do legendary Pacifist, where he ran through the entire thing without killing a single enemy, and I was like, I knew that could be done. He definitely beat me to it, but this is the first time that anyone's ever done it with all skulls on, which is kind of huge because there's Black Eye no shield recharge unless you melee an enemy. And since it's pacifist, which I guess I should explain what that is, you're not allowed to kill or attack any enemies. So right here, we're moving in. I jetpack down. You can move off the side here. I got a quick angle on the, what do we call it, the particle cannon, but you could obviously take your time. Watch out for that ship as he's moving away. Sometimes he'll be really slow and shoot at you with his cannon, and you don't want that to happen. Now, when the ghosts move away, you can hop back up, get in this ghost, and then you'll be pretty safe over here to shoot the particle cannon one more time. If you'll notice, this is Mythic difficulty, or Legendary All Skulls on, which means that it takes 2 hits because of the Mythic Skull to kill each particle cannon. So you have to just wait there with the timer. I think it's 30 seconds per recharge. Now right here, you don't have to do this. This is a little speedrunning trick. But you can take the ghost up here, and as soon as the cannon blows up, the soft kill zone across the river will disappear, and you can just launch the ghost straight across and move on in through the brush. Just be careful, try not to fall down. It can be tricky, and you can die if you hit the river. Now, if you have no shields like me, this probably isn't the smartest idea. There's 3 groups of enemies on the ground, plus phantom overhead shooting at you. So try to avoid these groups of enemies on the ground by driving away from them as you're driving through them. Don't just drive through the middle and take fire from everything. You'll probably wind up dying. And like I said, you could be just sitting on the mammoth this entire time. You don't have to fight any of those enemies. You'll be 100% completely safe, just chilling in there, and then you can take the warthog on this little route that I'm taking right here. Now remember this really annoying part down here where we tried ramming into those bubbles and blowing up the shields? Nope, there is a brand new super easy way to bypass all this. Check it out. Just park any vehicle next to this and hop out in the direction of the shield and you will go straight through it. It really is that simple, and there aren't really any enemies shooting at you, so you know, feel free to play it safe and go all the way to the other side and just practice getting out. Obviously, if you've played with vehicles in Halo before, you know that if you want to get out on the right side of a vehicle, turn the camera to the right. So you look to the right directionally and then press the button to hop out of the vehicle, and that's going to get you out straight through the gate. It's not random. Some people think that it's random which side you get out on, and that's just simply not true. So for those of you who are speedrunners, right here I want to make sure that the mammoth is in sight, and now I'm going to blast the particle cannon one time since we have to wait another 30 seconds to hit this baby again. So while I'm running to my ghost, I want to get that shot in, and now I'm going to move over to here and park the ghost in a very special place so that I can pick it up after we destroy this lich thingy in a super glitchy way. I mean, not super glitchy, but you'll see what I mean right here. So we're gonna wait for the timer on the particle cannon. If you press the select or the back button, you can see which weapon you have. You don't have to like look at your shadow like you did in Halo 3. Now that's gonna spawn the Phantom and the Lich right here. So all you have to do is jetpack over, be very careful that you don't get splattered by it if you drop too hard onto it. And then right here, I'm gonna very briefly ruin the Pacifist rules by attacking the Lich. This is kind of an exception to the rule. If you don't consider the Lich to be an enemy, then that's fine. If you do like want to be an extreme pacifist and say, no, you meleeed once and threw 2 grenades, how dare you, Eli, you broke the game, then you know, you don't have to consider this a pacifist run. Consider it a 0-shot run or whatever you want. But I think it's an exception, kind of like the 3-4-3 guilty spark rule on the last mission of Halo 3. Now right here, I'm going to ghost through. There's going to be a freeze in the game right there. And if you wait long enough after the Lich, then this area will be open to your ghost. Otherwise, there's a barrier, and you have to wait there, and you might get hit by the Wraith. Now right here, be extremely careful. Use the jetpack, and then let go of it for a second, and then use the jetpack once again, let go slightly, and then jetpack again. That makes it sound overly complicated, but all I'm saying is just pulse the jetpack. Don't just hold it down, go straight up, and then fall straight down. The campaign jetpack's very different. Double rainbow all the way across the sky. Nice little Easter egg there. Nod to 343. But yeah, the jetpack behaves differently. It automatically regenerates in campaign, and it lasts much longer than in multiplayer. Whereas in multiplayer, it takes 2 seconds before your jetpack starts regenerating, and you don't have as much of it to use. Now again, right here, this is just a speedrunning tactic. You could just go back to the mammoth right after the Lich and just sit in there quietly, just chilling and waiting. Lasky will talk, you'll have this conversation with Cortana, and eventually the mammoth will reach the same point that we're gonna be a few seconds ahead of time. So we're just speedrunning on in. Now in terms of what the other skulls do, if you're new to LASO, or you haven't really tried the difficulty and you don't know how much of a difference each skull makes, I wanted to talk really briefly about the impact of each of the skulls real fast. So iron means you have no checkpoints on solo, so you really don't want to die. If you do, you can use the save and quit method, where you save and quit and then immediately resume the campaign mission again. That's going to allow you to still beat the game on LASO for the LASO code, which, by the way, some people said that they only had to beat 1 mission on LASO difficulty, and the code worked for them. Now right here, real fast, I hit that loading zone. You saw the screen freeze very slightly. That means you can now turn around, and we're going to completely bypass this section with a little jetpack around the map. So as I was saying, the iron skull, just save and quit. And oh, by the way, if you know that there's only 1 mission required for LASO, let's take a poll actually. If you beat this mission for me, and you could come back and comment and let me know if the code works for you after 1 mission, I'll make a note in the description that it works for everybody after 1 mission. But if it's just a glitch for some people, then I'll still tell people that they need to beat the whole campaign on LASO. And if that's the case, I'll try to get guides out for every mission. Now right here, we're just jetpacking around the left side of these rocks. Just sort of stay hanging on the left. I'm taking sort of a safer route here. There is a faster direct route, but you need to have perfect timing on your jetpack for it. Now this is the tricky part. Sprint through this wall after you have full jetpack, drop to here, and that's when you press the jetpack button, is right as you're at the bottom of your sprint fall, and then you should be able to make it all the way across. It looks kind of scary, but I pulled it off pretty easily on my first try, and I think you could too. If not, it'll just take a little bit of practice, and it's totally worth it because the enemies do not spawn in this area, and it's probably faster than running around the other way. Now we're already inside, ready to meet the librarian. So just 10 minutes in, and we've completely bypassed everything on LASO. Haven't really killed any enemies. It's been wonderful. To keep going through these skulls, we have Iron, Blind, takes away the HUD, Black Eye, no shield recharge till melee, Mythic Skull, doubles enemy health, Thunderstorm, upgrades all enemies to highest status, Catch, makes enemies throw a lot of grenades, Famine, reduces your ammo pickup to half, Tough Luck, makes enemies berserk, dive away from projectiles, and never flee, Tilt, increases enemy resistances and weaknesses, and that goes for you too, so like that's why if you have concussion rifle with tilt, you can withstand more shots from it with the tilt skull because it changes the damage tables. And it's also why if you try to use human weapons to remove enemy shields, it takes forever. It's a terrible idea on LASO. Then you have Cowbell, which triples the acceleration from explosions, but not the damage. So that also makes the concussion shots, for example, shoot you much higher up than in normal game without tilt skull. Cloud disables the radar, but Blind Skull removes your HUD, so it's kind of redundant. Grunt Birthday Party, of course, shoot the grunts in the head and they explode. And the IWHBYD is I Would Have Been Your Daddy, which unlocks rare combat dialogue. So that's all of the skulls. It's not too bad. Although if you don't know what you're doing, this whole campaign could take you a full 24 hours to do. With all the skills and tricks that I've learned from other speedrunners like Aura Soldier, who was the very first to complete the game on LASO difficulty, he actually showed me some tricks that got us through in about 4 or 5 hours the first night that we played on co-op. And there's some really cool tricks that I'll probably share with you guys if we have to do the whole campaign, because it gets really, really difficult. But I don't know, I think I'd recommend doing it solo anyways, just because if you do co-op, you have to go through the vehicle sections together, which are nearly impossible, especially with lag. And the trench run in the first portion of Midnight is so impossible. There's no checkpoints. You need to get through it together. I just wouldn't wish that upon anybody, what we had to go through to beat that section on co-op. But, you know, to each his own, of course. And here there's a human-sized Cortana, foreshadowing. All right, so right here, I would actually recommend if you're doing this run and you don't care about Pacifist or Zero Shot, pick off some of the crawlers, because right here, we're going to jetpack up to the left, and we're going to completely avoid all of their fire, but you do have to come back in at the end over here, and it's honestly hit or miss whether you die. I happen to have no shields because I got hit by the Lich on my way down, but the enemy shots do barely anything to you because of the tilt skull. So it's, you know, you have a good chance of not killing anything and still surviving. But, you know, you have a battle rifle and it's not hard to aim, so you might as well kill a few while you're at it. And we're moving on to the last section here. This was actually a little bit ridiculous. So Pacifist requires no kills, no attacks, no gunners if you can remove them, legendary single player, no deaths, right? So I get to this part of the mission and I'm like, all right, we're so close. And then the Warthog just keeps driving. I was like, no, no, come back, come back. And so I lost some time here. I have no idea how I survived because those guys should have completely destroyed me in their ghosts, and I got really, really lucky there. I think that I probably ran in the wrong direction or something, so make sure you don't make that mistake because that could have ended very, very, very poorly. Now right here we're going to skip through this final portion. This is a pretty cool out-of-map trick that I'm pretty sure Halo History discovered. Park the vehicle down here so that the Wraith kind of shoots at that, and then run up, and you can basically just jetpack off this straight to the top. And once you're up there, you want to turn around and just run along this edge. Watch out for any Wraith blasts, because you're this close to the end, you really don't want to screw it up. And we are so close. All we have to do is jetpack up over that wall, don't get hit by any wraiths, and honestly, once you're up here, you're home free. I've never been killed by a wraith. If you do, you probably sat around way too long. And boom, we are over. Loading zone hits, and we are at the end of the mission. All you got to do, just like usual, get the target designator and have the most pointless quick time cutscene where you are kind of but not really controlling this missile heading into, what is that, the Didact's ship. And that's the end of the mission on Pacifist. Really, really easy. So if I can do it with no kills, I believe that you can do it with kills and just chilling and playing it safe. It's really easy. Go give it a shot. Try out the LASO code and let me know how it works. So that's it. Subscribe for more. Thumbs up if you enjoyed. And this is Nak3d Eli. Thank you so much for watching.